All right, let's talk about dreams. Those bizarre, beautiful, sometimes terrifying movies that play in our heads every night. We spend a huge chunk of our lives in these worlds, but what do they actually mean? Today, we are going to dive deep to try and crack the code, all the way from Freud's classic ideas to what modern neuroscience is telling us right now. Let's get into it.
So think about this for a second. Have you ever woken up from a dream about water? I mean, maybe it was amazing, like you were floating on this perfectly calm sea, or maybe it was terrifying, you were running from a giant tsunami. That one single image, water, feels so powerful, right? Well, it's actually the perfect clue for us to start unraveling this whole mystery. We're going to use water as our guide to see just how differently we've tried to understand our dreams over the years.
Okay, first things first. To understand our dreams, we have to learn to speak their language. And it's a language built on two really key things, kind of like the vocabulary of your subconscious: symbols and metaphors.
So let's start with the symbol. The easiest way to think about a symbol is as a single, powerful snapshot. It's like your brain hits the pause button on the most emotionally intense moment of a memory and just freezes it. It's the absolute core of a feeling, a static picture that's totally rooted in your personal past.
Now, if the symbol is the snapshot, then the metaphor, well, that's the movie. It takes that frozen image and presses play, weaving it into a whole story. And this story isn't just about what happened back then. It's dynamic, it points to what's going on now, and maybe even where things are headed.
So here's the bottom line. The difference is really between being and doing. A symbol tells you what an emotion is. It's that condensed snapshot from your past. But a metaphor tells you what that emotion is doing. It's a story in action, moving from the past toward the future. Now, let's see how the pioneers of this whole field first grappled with these ideas.
All right, let's bring in the original detectives of the dream world, Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung. I mean, these are the two giants who first tried to crack the code. And they had some seriously different ideas about how it all works. Ideas that basically set the stage for everything that came after.
And this is where they really part ways. See, Freud looked inward. For him, your dreams were all about you, your personal history, your hidden desires, your own unique baggage. But Jung? He looked outward. He believed that underneath all our personal stuff, we're all connected to this collective unconscious, a huge shared library of universal myths and symbols he called archetypes. So, naturally, they had different ideas about why we even dream. For Freud, it was all about wish fulfillment. Dreams were like a pressure valve, a safe place to let out all the forbidden stuff we push down. The goal was to decode those hidden conflicts. Jung saw it differently. He thought dreams were more like a guide. They weren't just about the past. They were pointing us toward future growth, helping us become a more whole, complete person.
Okay, theory is great, but let's make this real. Let's go back to our central clue, that dream about water. How would our two star detectives analyze it? This is where you can really see just how different their approaches were.
Freud, he would immediately connect water to our most primal biological experiences. To him, water is all about the womb, birth, repressed sexuality. You get the idea. So, dreaming of rising water? That could be a hidden desire bubbling up to the surface. And drowning? Well, that might be your conscious mind, your ego, getting totally overwhelmed by those deep, powerful feelings.
Jung, on the other hand, would see something much, much bigger. For him, water is a universal symbol, an archetype, for the unconscious itself. It's vast, mysterious, and full of potential for transformation. So dreaming of crossing a river could symbolize a massive life change. A flood might not just be chaos. It could be a kind of spiritual cleansing, washing away the old to make room for the new.
So for decades, the conversation was pretty much dominated by these two psychological models. But then, a totally new player came on the scene, with a wild twist that shifts the focus from just the mind to the physical brain itself.
I mean, what if the pictures we see in our dreams, what if they aren't just psychological symbols? What if they're the end result of a deep, physical process happening inside our heads while we sleep?
And that's the core idea behind something called the Brain Kinematics Model, or BKM. It basically suggests that memories and emotions are carried through our brains in actual physical currents. Think of them as strain flows. But here's the crucial part. The dream you actually remember, the image of that tsunami, that's not the flow itself. It's just the surface layer, the final picture that pops out of those deeper physical dynamics.
So here's how it unfolds, step by step. First, you have these physical flows moving through the brain, carrying little packages of memory and emotion. Then, these flows start to settle and crystallize into stable energy patterns. And only then, at the very end of this whole process, does the final dream image emerge into your awareness. So that tsunami you dreamed about? That's the visible surface picture of a massive discharge of stress energy happening on a much deeper, purely physical level.
So now we have these three incredible lenses to look through. We've got the personal lens of Freud, the mythic lens of Jung, and now the physical lens of the Brain Kinematics Model. Let's pull them all together and look at our water dream one last time.
This chart really lays it all out beautifully. You've got Freud, who sees the dream through your unique personal history. A repressed desire is overwhelming you. Then there's Jung, who sees it as part of a universal human story. You're going through a major life transition. And finally, BKM sees it as the visible tip of a physical iceberg. It's the surface image of a huge stress discharge in the brain. The fascinating thing is, none of them are necessarily wrong. They're just describing different layers of the very same event.
So what does this all actually mean for you? Well, it means you now have a much more powerful and sophisticated toolkit for understanding what's going on in your own head. The goal isn't to pick a winner between these theories, but to see how they can all work together.
Think of it like this. Every single symbol in your dream probably has at least 3 layers of meaning, all happening at once. You've got the deep biological layer that BKM talks about, the physical brain stuff we all share as humans. Then there's the cultural layer from Jung, the myths and stories from your specific culture. And finally, you've got the personal layer from Freud, the one-of-a-kind emotional memories from your own life.
So the next time you wake up from some wild, vivid dream, ask yourself this. Are you just decoding a hidden wish from your past? Are you tapping into a timeless myth from our shared human story? Or are you actually feeling the final symbolic picture of the physical energy flowing inside your brain? The real answer? It's probably a little bit of all three.